You're doing everything right. You're studying, you're practicing, you're even starting to pick up certain words in Spanish. But here's the thing, when it's time for you to speak, do you freeze up? Kind of like this guy right here. It's like you start a sentence, you stop, you search for words, and then nothing comes out. Let's be 100. It's frustrating, it's stressful, and sometimes it can feel embarrassing. It can even make you feel like you're further off from fluency than you should be. I know the feeling because it used to happen to me. You really want to know what the crazy part is? Most people who are learning Spanish today are making the exact same mistakes I made, and they don't even realize it. It all came down to one single mistake, and chances are you're making the same one ahora mismo, número 7. Let's get into it. Hola, soy Profe Don Omar, and if we're meeting for the first time, on this channel I help busy adults go from hola to actually speaking Spanish with confidence, without feeling stuck, without freezing up mid-sentence, and most definitely without relying solely on apps. So today I'm going to show you the 10 commandments of learning Spanish that I came up with. And if you're breaking even one of these, there's a good chance that's exactly why you feel stuck. And when we get to number 7, you'll see exactly what I mean. Okay, commandment number 1, thou shalt practice daily. Let me start with the one everyone knows, but almost nobody follows. Practica cada día. Spanish cannot be something you do once in a while. It's something you have to touch every single day. Not when you feel motivated, not when you have time, cada día. I'm telling you, fluency isn't built in one long study session that lasts like 2 or more hours. It's built in small repeated moments over the course of time. I've been you, studying for 2 hours in one sitting, once or twice a week, only to forget everything in a day or so. But hear me out. If you take just one focused hour with 3 real life scenarios on a daily basis, that will most definitely stick faster. That's exactly why I teach the SOT method. 7 days a week, 1 hour a day, 3 activities per day, 20 minutes each. In and out. Now the next commandment is where most learners start to fall off. Commandment number 2, thou shalt engage with native Spanish. You cannot learn Spanish in isolation. You know, estudia, estudia, estudia. Pero nunca hablas con otra persona? At some point, you have to interact with real people. Throughout my years of teaching, I've seen students who can conjugate like the best of them, every single verb, but freeze the moment when someone asks them, ¿Cómo aprendiste español?
¿Dónde aprendiste español?
You have to realize that Spanish is no longer a class subject for you as an adult. It's now a life skill, something that you can actually use on a daily basis. Hey, real quick, if you're gaining value from today's video, be sure to like it, hype it, and share it with someone you know trying to become a better Spanish speaker. Now, let's get back to the video. Coming in at commandment number 3, thou shalt immerse thyself in Spanish. If Spanish only exists when you study, your brain never actually adapts to it. In other words, your brain turns Spanish on and off like a light switch instead of letting it become natural. Because when it's around you all the time, everything changes. Mira, you don't need to live in España, Mexico, or Panama, but Spanish needs to live around you. You have to figure out how you can get the maximum amount of exposure possible to the language right where you currently are. Leave a comment below of an idea of where you can get maximum exposure to Spanish, right in your city or community. Coming in at commandment number 4, thou shalt read regularly. Let me show you something I noticed. The students who improved the fastest weren't the ones memorizing more words. They were the ones who were reading consistently. Por ejemplo, here in Charlotte, we have a Spanish language newspaper. With my students, I would find a few articles to pick out for them to read each week, no more than 20 minutes per day. A few weeks later, they stopped translating everything. In other words, the more you read, the more Spanish starts to make sense on its own. Coming in at commandment number 5, thou shalt write in Spanish. Now here's where things get uncomfortable. escribiendo. Quite honestly, most people avoid it. But here's the truth. If you want to accelerate your communication skills in Spanish, writing is the way to go. Now, the number one question is, what the heck do I even write? Anything you want. I wish just one of my Spanish teachers would have told me, Oye, Omar, necesitas empezar a llevar un diario. Shout out to one of my favorite students, Señora Andrea. I've been asking her to start journaling for a few weeks now. Just this week, we finally got to the core of why she hadn't started. She didn't know what to write about. She also told me she didn't think she knew enough vocabulary. So here's what you can do. Check this out. I've taught kids, professionals, retirees, and thousands of students. All of the adults who succeed stopped chasing fluency and started chasing functionality in Espanol. How well can you maneuver with the things that you already know? That's exactly why I created my Spanish Made Simple challenge. It's not to overwhelm you. It's not even to turn you into a grammar expert, but I created it to help you experience success again as quickly as possible. So if you tried to learn Spanish before and felt stuck, if you want 2026 to finally be the year that Spanish clicks for you, join me in the Spanish Made Simple challenge. I'll guide you step by step so Spanish feels doable. Create mini dialogues, create mini monologues, brief introductions, quick request, talking about travel, hotel, restaurant scenarios. Writing off the top of your head shows you what you actually know and what you don't know. Coming in at commandment number 6, thou shall use apps wisely. I'm going to be 100 with you. Apps are helpful, but they are not the reason people become fluent in a language. Peep this. Right now, I'm on day 699 of an app streak. And realistically, I know I can hold only a conversation in one of the 4 languages that I'm learning. So look at it like this. Apps can support your learning, but they can't speak for you. Coming in at commandment number 7, thou shalt embrace mistakes. For a long time, I avoided making mistakes. I didn't want to sound wrong. I didn't want to be corrected. I didn't want to feel uncomfortable. So I shied away from speaking the language with native speakers. And because I stayed quiet, I stayed stuck. Then I noticed something. The people improving faster than me weren't better. They were actually just making more mistakes in real time with real people. That's when I changed up my game plan. The mistakes weren't the problem. The problem was avoiding them. Look at it like this. Every mistake is proof that you're actually using the language, right? So if you're not making mistakes, quite honestly, you're not speaking enough. Now, once you understand that, everything else starts to fall into place. Coming in at commandment number 8, thou shalt set clear goals. Dime algo. What are you actually trying to do in Espanol? Are you one of those people who says, I just want to be fluent? But here's the thing. That's way too vague. Look at it like this. If you don't know what you're aiming for, you'll practice but never progress. I too thought I was doing everything right. I was practicing conjugations. I was studying vocab every day. I was even starting to understand people. But when it came time for me to open my mouth, this guy. I was struggling with composing sentences correctly, pausing between words, second guessing myself. I was nowhere near the level of fluency that I wanted. I'm telling you, not only was it embarrassing, it was extremely frustrating, depressing actually. Even to the point where I had to move out of state to be able to continue teaching what I love. A move that I actually didn't even want to make. But you know what? When I look back, you have to establish your SMART goals for your expectations con Español. Coming in at commandment number 9, thou shalt review and repeat. Here's another mistake. Are you one of those learners who's always chasing something new? I'm talking about like new words, new lessons, new videos, but never go back to the previous information? Look, what I'm saying is this. If you don't revisit it, your brain will delete it by default. We all know the saying, if you don't use it, you what? Now, the 10th commandment, the one people forget 95% of the time, thou shalt have fun. Check this out. If Spanish feels like work to you, I can tell you this. Number 1, you won't stay consistent. And if you're not consistent, you won't become fluent. Ever. In other words, the moment Spanish becomes something you enjoy, consistency becomes automatic for you. So let's recap what we just talked about here today. If you want to speak Spanish fluently, you got to do the following. Practice daily. Use Spanish with people. Surround yourself with it. Read it, write it, and use tools wisely with concrete expectations for those tools. Most definitely make mistakes and set realistic and attainable goals. And you want to make sure you review and, most importantly, enjoy the process. I always like to leave you with a Profe Power Tip, and today's Profe Power Tip is this. Fluency is not built with random words. It's built with patterns and power phrases. Once you identify those, it's smooth sailing, baby. So which commandment hit you the hardest? 1 through 10. Escribe el número en los comentarios. And if you now have clarity on how to approach becoming fluent, this video right here will help you identify your SMART goals to start speaking Spanish now. Soy Profe Don Omar, your guide on how to speak Spanish now. Nos vemos.